Hey guys, we're going to see if this works. It might not. I'm thinking about maybe doing a series of videos about cue brands. I'm up to 40 cues now, and in a lot of cases I have, several cues of the same brand. And so, maybe I know a little bit about playing with those brands. Now, maybe I don't. But something to do. What the heck? So, what I'm going to talk about in this video is McDermott. I have 3 McDermotts, and they're on the table here. This one here, I don't know the model number. This was the first McDermott I bought, like in the modern era. I bought this probably 10 years ago or so, and I bought this just because I wanted a McDermott, and the one that I wanted I couldn't find, and the other one I wanted I couldn't find. So this is just a Lucky. For some reason I want to say it's a M7, and like every cue, it looked a hell of a lot better in the picture. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I'm less than thrilled with it's like red fleck on black. I'm less than thrilled with that. That's it. It's perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, back when I only had 16 or so cues, I would have little tournaments just down here to just entertain myself. I would have little one-pocket tournaments, little bank tournaments amongst my various cues. And the very first one I ever had was one pocket, and this cue won. This cue beat out my Sean at the time, which was my main cue. A bunch of other Seans had beat out. This cue came in first place, and second place was, of all things, my Q-Tech, my Earl Strickland Q-Tech. But I mean, it's fine. It's fine. This cue is fairly squirty, but I can play with it. I found out that time that I can play with it. Anyway, I would not have ever bought this if either one of these next 2 cues had been available, if I've been able to find them. This cue I've talked about several times. This is my D21. I don't really have a big story with this cue, about this kind of cue, except a friend of mine had one of these when I first got stationed in Omaha, Nebraska. He had one of these, and it was the first cue I ever remember going, wow, I really like the cue, it's really pretty. I'd seen other people's cues and didn't think much, not like I hated them, not like I did that. I was like, okay, it's a cue, oh, that's a cue. Or maybe I said, oh, that's a really fancy cue. But this guy had, a cue kind of affordable-ish for me back then, and I really liked it. I really liked the D21. This will always be my favorite looking McDermott. And I guess just a little bit of trivia I've mentioned before in videos. This is my squirtiest cue that has a joint. I have a house cue over there that squirts more than this. But this thing squirts like crazy. It's ridiculous. The other cue that I really wanted was one of these. Not this one. This is a McDermott D12. And the one that I wanted is the one I used to own. I got it like in '86 or so, and became a good player with that D12. I was already decent. I think I was at AP 6. In fact, I know I was. I was shooting with a Schmelke. The Schmelke broke in half right here, high quality, shut there, and my buddy bought me a D12, and I became a much better player at AP 7, and I was probably the best league player in Omaha, except for one guy that kept kicking my ass named Jim. He had a good-looking girlfriend, and he kicked my ass in pool, so yeah, I didn't like him very much. Anyway, this cue, this D12 is not the one. This is a replacement. I looked for 25 years on the internet and finally found a D12 for sale. And then because it was crap, it was in really, really, really bad condition. So I shipped it back I shipped it to Rick Filippi and said, can you do anything with this? And by God, he did. He sent it back to me looking like new. And he put the boar's hide wrap on it. The only thing that doesn't look new about this cue is the McDermott logo is a little bit faded from the refinishing process. And maybe one of these years I'll get a toothpick with some green paint and try to draw that in. I probably won't bother with that. I like hitting balls with this cue. It's like a nostalgia thing for me. I'd like to buy my original one back, and that may never happen. I like this a lot. I'm going to hit some balls with it after I do this video. Those are my 3 McDermotts. I have 3 McDermotts. One of them was just to have a McDermott. That was this middle one here, the Lucky 7 or whatever. The other 2, I absolutely wanted those kind of cues, both of those 2. I like the D series McDermotts. You know, those were the cue when I started, you know, becoming a player and interested in cues and stuff like that. Is a lot of people back then had McDermotts, and it was the D series back then. So they'll always have like a special place in my heart and, you know, my memory of, you know, the good old days and all that stuff. So that's this video.